Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. Today I'm going to do my rose cactus, the pruning and sticking of them. It's called the Pereskia Grandiflora. The sticking media will you can either use sand, sifted perlite, a 50-50 mix of sifted perlite and fluorite, or turfus, or a cactus mix after the cuttings heal over. That's the important thing, otherwise they'll rot. Today's July 11th of 2021, 66 degrees Fahrenheit or 19 degrees Celsius. It was a nice rainy day today. It's cloudy out yet, but it's still nice. So here are some of my cuttings that I stuck, and you can see how easily they're starting to root. There's another one right here. So let me put these aside. There we go. Now let's get cutting. We'll do the first one. Here you can see how it's growing. Even though I took a cutting right about here, I thought it would back bud at the joint, but it didn't. I did it all the way underneath, which is unusual, but I guess that's how it grows. So what I'm going to do is, my pruners are all sterilized, but what I'm going to do now is take this branch off because I want this one to grow, the top one. Let's see if I can cut it as close as I can. There we go. And you can see it right there, how it grew out of that joint instead of coming up over here. So I'm just going to cut that piece off like that. And you can see how a little bit of water's in there, so we're going to let this harden off. We can take the leaves though and cut, because we want to be able to stick it in the soil, but after it hardens off. Now this part here, I can try to cut it here and have it come out over here, but right now I'm just going to take it about here and cut it like you see, and just take the leaves off, some of the big ones. I can see it's all dripping, so we got to let this harden off. Now hopefully this will start to grow up this way, but you never know on a tree cactus. There's a tree rose. Now here's the other one. It's in a little pot, but it's grown way too much out this way. This one's coming up nice. Now we can either have it as a twin trunk. If I cut it about here, real low to the first leaf there, maybe it'll come out a little bit straighter. I don't know, but you can see how it calloused over a little bit right there. With the lipstick on it, it helped it out a little bit. So right now I'm just going to cut it. Now these root easily, but you're going to let them callus over. And I'm going to take my other shears and just give it a little bit of a 45 there. Throw that in. And then I'm going to take the lipstick and just dab it just a little bit on this heavy cut here, because with the rainy weather we're having, I don't want this to rot. And the same goes for this one on the cut right here. We're just going to hit it with the lipstick just a little bit. That'll keep it from rotting. And then right here where we cut the big cut, we're just going to take it a little bit like that, just to get it to prevent rot from percolating into the plant. So that's two down. Now here's another one. Now you can see how thick the trunk grows. I mean, you're going to get a good tree out of this, but I'm leaving these leaves on for now, and you can see how it's getting into a nice twin trunk. But I'm leaving everything on this so it fattens up this trunk, and all this comes out nice. You can see where I cut it right here. So it starts out a little one because the branch was getting way too thick. Now, these have thorns on them, so you got to be very, very careful. Now what I'm going to do, you can either use perlite, you can use our 50-50 mix, or you can use straight sand. Now, since this stuff is dry, you can take a chance. If you don't have no place to store your plants, your cuttings, just cut a little more of the leaf off. I'm going to take about a little more than half the leaf off. Just like that. This way here it won't lose moisture real fast. Now this is a little wet, but since the sand is super dry, I'm just going to put it in as far down as I can go, and I'm going to let it sit there and not water it for a week. Now you can, if you cannot wait, you can take another cutting. Now I'm going to take this one off right about here at a 45. Remember, at a 45, so the water, whatever water does come, drains out. I'm going to cut it right below the brain. The brain is right over here where the branch is, where the leaf is coming out. I'm just going to cut below the brain at a 45. Cut that leaf off. Cut another leaf off. This one off. And then you can let it callus over, or if you want, as long as you don't water it and as long as the media is dry, I'm going to take my 50-50 mix, and right now I got a paper towel on the bottom, and then I'm going to put this in a little bit into the bottom, and then I'm just going to hold it and fill around it because you don't want to press it in. And you're not going to water this for a good week because you want this to callus over into the soil, and this dry mix will help it to callus over easily. Okay, you can do it that way. Now with the other one, you can also do the perlite, but remember, you gotta cut it at a 45. Here's your brain, right there, there's your brain. Cut it at a 45 below the brain, and then we're going to cut these leaves off so we can get it into the soil. I know it looks a little drastic. I cut the leaf in half, 3/4, 3/4, half on the big ones. Okay, and there's your cut. Now it's a little bit wet, but all we're going to do is take our perlite and we're going to do the same thing. I got a paper towel here into the bottom, and then we're going to put some perlite in and just go around it. Now perlite's a little light, but you don't want to wet nothing yet because you want this to callus over. And this, when the perlite's dry, it'll help do it. All you gotta do is firm it in. Not hard, just gently touch it to get it in. Same thing with the one that we have in the 50-50 mix. Now, if you have cactus mix, don't do that because it's still moist. You don't want these to rot. So what I'm going to do with this one is, the minute it calluses over, but first I have to go where the brain is, and that's where the leaf was. So let me take this leaf off. You can see the thorns, how they come up. I don't know if you can see the brown one right. Let's see if I can get a better angle right there, coming out of the joint here. So they'll grow long. So what right now, here's where I cut it, and here's a piece of the leaf and a piece of the leaf where it's at. So that's like your brain. So I'm just going to cut it at a 45 right below it. And then you got to be careful so you don't get the stickers on the floor. And all I'm going to do is cut half of the leaf on the big ones right there. And now I'm going to let this one callus over. Or I can stick it into my perlite and let it just dry naturally. So that's what I think I'll do. But remember, if you don't have nothing to plant it in, don't worry about it. You got a week to get this into the pot, because you want that to callus over before you start watering it. So as long as you don't press it into the soil, just put the soil around it and just put it down gentle like, you'll have it. So that's an easy way to propagate these, and you can see how easily they propagate. So we got all 4 of ours right then and there. So don't be afraid to try it. On the big cuts like this one here, you can see that this is a little bit, right, cut it at a 45. I'm just going to dab it with the lipstick. I know it'll callus over, but I usually put these outside, but not for a while now because of the rain. I can put the others out because I got them dabbed with lipstick, so they're not going to get mushy or nothing. And these do flower for you, so you'll be rewarded with flowers. So don't be afraid to give it a try. It's an easy cactus. You can see the trunks that develop on here. You can see how nice they develop. And something easier for you to grow, and something easier for you to house in the wintertime. As long as you give it a nice bright sunny window. And look at this. You can see how thick your trunk does get. See? It grows nice. So don't be afraid to try. So the old clock on the computer says hurry up, Tom. So not the computer, the tablet. So it's Sunday night, family night. Parents, take your children. Grandma and grandpa, if you're babysitting, take the grandchildren. Sit down. Put on Little Lawrence Welk. Let the kids get used to some good music. Sit down, relax, and enjoy the evening with them. Watch Lawrence Welk and listen to the good old time music. And don't forget to have a cup of tea with it. So you take care, everybody. And thank you for coming to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. Have a happy Sunday.